You are already the version of yourself who you want to be. Yes, you don't even need to try. You already are the version of that version of yourself who you are trying to be. Yeah, identity shift. I think it's really important, and I realized that importance of shifting your identity to into the version of yourself you want to be. Every time I am trying to make a change in my life, I take action for it, right? Like do some sort of like things to make it happen in my reality. But a lot of the time where almost like most of the time I end up like giving up or cannot make the change, and I end up like blaming, criticizing myself a lot, and that makes me scared of taking action in my future, and I beat myself up. I become more insecure about myself. Infinite negative loop I couldn't get out of for a long time. But now I realized that whenever you are trying to do something new or, implement or, embody some sort of new perspective or perception or whatever it might be, whatever you're trying to do. But I think it's important to, shift your identity first. Then, be, do, have, like that order. Be first and do, and you will have that. That's what I was lacking when I was trying to make a change, but I couldn't do it. So, and I realized I couldn't shift my identity to like that new version of myself that I was trying to be. So, but my identity was always the same. I couldn't change that root of it. And I think identity, perspective, perception, these like things, these are the things what are shaping our reality, I guess. So if you don't change your identity first, then whatever you are trying to do on the surface level, it's not gonna, maybe it will work a little bit, but it's not gonna change the root of it all. Identity, you have to shift it first. Yeah, shift the identity first. Be the version of yourself. Install the identity the version of yourself who you want to be first, and do as if, act like you are that version of yourself already, and you will become that version of yourself. So be, do, have, this order. I think it's really important, not that you are trying to become that, but you are already that version of yourself. Like, kind of like manipulate your brain that you already are the version of yourself, and do and have. Now that I think about it, or when I'm reflecting on my life, whenever I am trying my best to make something happen, or get some sort of achievements I was trying to make, but the root of me, like I guess I could say identity, my identity was kind of like, or subconscious was telling me that like you cannot do it. How much you try your best to like make some sort of tangible achievements, or make some goals, achieve some sort of goals or achievements, but if your subconscious, your inner self, I don't know, is telling you that you cannot do it, or you don't deserve it, or you are incapable of achieving it, these negative self-talk is going on within you, then no matter how hard you try, but that like self-talk, negative self-talk, the power of our subconscious is, too strong. I don't know how exactly the percentages are, but I think like more than 90% or 95% our reality is shaped by our subconscious. Don't quote me on that. So when people talk about subconscious mind and conscious mind, people use like glacier anatomy. So maybe I guess I could use that too. So like, there's like subconscious mind and conscious mind. And like, imagine there's like you are seeing like glacier on the boat. What you see above the water like glacier is like this much, hypothetically. But if you see this much glacier on the water surface, what's really there underneath or in the water is like this big, gigantic, like massive, like huge glacier going on. And there is actually in the water underneath that. So, and that's what our subconscious mind is. And our conscious mind is like this part, this much, this much has power impact on like this much, like this much. This is conscious mind and this is our subconscious mind. So clearly subconscious mind is way powerful than our conscious mind. So that's why it's really important for you to shift your identity first, like be to have, like instill the version of yourself you want to become, and like act like as such, as if you are already that version of yourself. Then you will become that identity like naturally, or you will become that version of yourself. But if you don't do it, since like your subconscious mind has huge impact on our lives, our reality and what you create, that's what is shaping our reality. So turning around your subconscious mind to work for you is the fastest way to like change your reality. Then one of the ways for you to do it is like shift your identity first, like act like you are already that version of yourself. Yeah. So that's why so many times in my life, whenever I am trying to make something new, make a change in my life, a huge, big difference, or, even slight difference, or, when I'm trying so hard to make my dreams come true, or, achieve my goals, I work hard, but I end up like couldn't finish it, or I couldn't make it come true because my subconscious mind was telling me, because always had this like negative self-talk habit, always like, oh, you don't deserve it, and you can't do it, like you are incapable of achieving these. Because I was always like, I used to hate myself a lot, and I was always criticizing myself. I was like blaming myself a lot for like everything I do wrong. So of course my subconscious mind was always against me, because of it's my fault though, because I was kind of like always like talk about myself, say bad things about me, I was always like telling myself something really, really bad, which I would never, and I could never tell someone too. Does that make sense? Like, I told myself, something I wouldn't tell my friends or closest people too. Does that make sense? So, but I was saying that to myself, so my subconscious mind was always against me, so I couldn't shift my reality, and always life was dark and heavy and like, infinite negative loop. And it's hard, right? Who wants that? If you don't want to experience these things. So I guess like shifting your identity first that's crucial part of your journey, because I guess that's the one of the ways to turn around your subconscious mind into like work for you. Yeah. So another thing you can try to turn your subconscious mind around to work for you is to like talk like positive self-talk, I guess I could say, say good things about you. For example, what I used to do, I talked a little bit about this earlier, but I used to talk like, even when you're not speaking verbally, like, out loud, but we are in our subconscious mind, or in our mind, there's so many things are going on, right? There's so many things we are thinking about unintentionally, unconsciously. And what is going on in our subconscious mind is like made of like built up what we like consume or what we interact with energies we interact with on a daily basis, right? And the word you talk to yourself or you use to talk to others in both ways, but whatever the situation is, but the words you speak is has the big impact on your subconscious mind, because that's what remains in our subconscious mind. Does that make sense? So for instance, I used to talk crap about me, I hate you, I don't like you, this happened because of you, and you don't deserve this, you can't do this, you are incapable of achieving these things, or you never be successful. These negative self-talk I was doing. So in my subconscious mind, these things piled up. So whenever, even when I am not even talking about myself, or I am not doing anything, but unconsciously what is going on in my mind is these negative self-talk is keep repeating over and over and over again, and that becomes my truth. And these beliefs, these are the things what triggers us to take action. But if you do self-negative talk, your action would be aligned with your negative self-talk, so you won't be able to take action because you are saying bad things to yourself. So I was and I became scared to do things, and I was insecure about myself. I hated myself. Everything became dark and everything was against me, I felt like. So but now I realize the importance of positive self-talk, or talking good things about me on a daily basis, kind of like affirmation. And I do that a lot, in front of the mirror. I tell myself that I love you, or you are capable of doing this, or you have this and that, and thank you so much for doing all the things you've went through. These affirmation kind of thing. I always do that. That's what I'm trying to do constantly on a regular basis. And that has been helping me a lot to change my turn my subconscious mind around to work for me. Yeah, affirmation, it doesn't have to be a lot, just saying, you can just say thank you to yourself. You can say just I love you so much, or to yourself. Look in the mirror. It doesn't have to be in front of the mirror, but you to yourself say these good things, positive things. At first it's gonna feel weird. That's what I felt, and I hated myself, so I can take that. But as you do it, you will get used to it, and it will come into your mind naturally, and that becomes your beliefs and truth, and so your reality starts to shift into that, aligned with your positive talk that you're doing. Did that make sense? But yeah, but it takes a while to shift our subconscious mind completely, to turn around it. So you have to be consistent, and you have to work. It's not going to change one day and you will change your subconscious mind, turn around your subconscious mind. And no, it's not going to happen. But you have to work constantly. You need constant endeavor, constant work to change it. But if you do it, you definitely can change your reality. You can shift your identity into your ideal self. Did that make sense? Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate you, and I genuinely hope you have wonderful, mystical, awesome, great day, weekends, lunchtime, nighttime, bedtime, whenever you're watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you are always that version of yourself. Not even trying. You already are that version of yourself.